That's really interesting because when you're an NFL head coach, it's an absolute grind, but it's driven by structure. Like every single year, every single month, every single day, every single hour, you have a plan, you have a system, it's laid out. I was going to say, is it liberating or is this whole thing really confusing now?
It's somewhere between liberating and confusing. We do get a calendar. As soon as the season's over with, Kevin, my assistant, would put together the calendar dates. We'd look at the owners' meetings, the combine dates, draft dates. We'd know training camp dates, and then build it right away. Within 2 weeks, we'd have the calendar all the way through our training camp, and then we hold off until we get the opponent. We know the opponents, but we hold off until we get the schedule. But to your point, though, it's very structured. You know, these are your weeks that you're going to be doing the combine, doing the draft. And when that all goes quiet, you know, I always talk to our players about it. You're going to miss the itinerary. And that just means you're going to miss
the structure. The structure.
Absolutely. And so that's kind of the stage I'm in right now. And you know, you're worried about being late with a bill or changing a dress or just normal stuff that is.
Hey, Sean, welcome to the real world, my man.
Yeah, transitional stuff.
Oh, damn, I didn't pay the phone bill. Why did they turn my lights off?
I got to change a mailing address because, you know, over a period of time, I had stuff just sent to the office. It was easy. You know, that was kind of like the main. And all of a sudden, that's not your main hub anymore. That's unsettling.
Dude, you have to do stuff now. You have to literally do stuff now.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
Sean Payton joining us. So how did you know it was time?
Probably a series of events, you know, probably throughout the season. And ultimately, it was kind of how you were feeling or how I was feeling. Man, it requires so much attention to detail, so much energy. And you don't want to become cynical at the game or cynical at a place that has been so good for me, you know, over that time frame. And there's a little bit of a new challenge, a new floor, if you will, that you're anxious to try. It's so easy to stay. Man, I still had three more years on a contract, and rarely does the coach choose. You know, it's the latter, you know, most of the time. And I'm not saying it's easy to be fired, but it's much easier when you're fired to say, see you later. And when you just leave, there's that question as to why you're leaving. And it's been a long time.
So, Sean, why are you leaving? There's that question. Why are you leaving?
It's time. It's time for another challenge. I'd like to try TV. I'd like to, you know, be here next year and possibly be involved in the coverage of games. You know, there's a lack of sleep. There's this whole. This is hard to sustain over a long period of time, and that has something to do with it. Just, you know, a little bit more healthy lifestyle.
You promoted Dennis, or the team promoted Dennis Allen to be head coach.
Yeah.
The two of you go back a long, long way.
Sure.
How happy are you for him? And then what advice would you give him as he takes over? He's been a head coach, but, you know, moving that one seat over or moving to that next room is a totally different deal. What would you tell him?
I think the number one thing is be yourself and be comfortable in yourself. That the minute you try to maybe – it doesn't mean you don't evolve and learn and take on a new role, but you still do it within the framework of what made you successful as a defensive coordinator. You obviously communicate well. You obviously relate to the players well. Continue that now and just be a team coordinator. All right? You've been a defensive coordinator, and I think that transition will be smooth. The second thing I would tell him is, look, the office is set up. It's perfect. I cleaned it. All right. No, really. Listen, it's a newer office. It's got a bathroom in it, and in the shower.
How do you leave now, Sean? You got a bathroom. You got your own bathroom. You got a brand new
shower.
Office. Is it a corner office with a view?
It's a side office with a view, but it's got a rigged like Seinfeld shower head. And so just be careful that first time that you turn that water pressure on. That would be the warning I have.
That's really important advice, man. Yeah. Now he's ready to roll.
Be yourself and be heads up for the shower.
And look out for the water pressure.
You'll be good.